today's topic is going to be rather interesting. I'm going to talk about gallstones. Now, you'd be wondering, what are these gallstones? So, what happens is you have what we call a gallbladder, and a lot of the excess bile that the liver produces gets stored in that. It's kind of like a reservoir, it's a tank for you. Okay. But over the years, what happens? Uh, Stones start to form and collect, which means the body is not able to break it down. They're actually cholesterol stones. Okay. But don't be scared about it, because they don't form because of what you eat. Okay. It's not about having a bad diet or anything. In fact, it's quite the contrary. A lot of gallstones are related to people who skip a lot of meals, don't eat regularly, don't have enough food, not enough nutrients, um, and they kind of accumulate over periods of time. Now, why does that happen? Gallstones require bile and fats to dissolve them. They will collect and they will build up, but it's the requisite concentration of bile and the fats that are required to dissolve them and break them down into very small portions so that it gets passed out through your intestine. Okay. um, and People are beginning to take this a little more seriously, because sometimes these things can lead to an infection of the gallbladder. Okay. And the first knee jerk reaction is the doctor will ask you to remove it, because they're scared of infections. I mean, it can be serious if not treated in time, or if the infection has grown very, very large. Okay. And then it becomes kind of becomes a danger. But any recourse, the first recourse is to try medicine before you try to kind of knock it off from somewhere. Okay. So I'd say removing the gallbladder in the first shot is not something that is recommended. Okay. Uh, you know, I've recently had a friend, his wife actually got really panicked into the situation and said, no, you've got to remove it. It's life and death scenario and stuff like that. And just that simple statement puts stress on the individual. And now what happens? Your cortisol has gone up. And when your cortisol goes up, there you are. What's going to happen? Your gallstones are going to become bigger. Okay. So you can be prone to liver stones if you remove your gallbladder. So no more gallbladder. Now the stones, where they're going to hang around? Yeah, they're going to hang around your liver. And that's not a good thing to have. So, removing the gallbladder is not really an ultimate solution. You're just removing probably the problem that you might have, but the causes are not removed. Okay. So, like I said, what are these causes? Stress is an extremely crazy thing for us. The cortisol is something that really does a lot of havoc in our body, and gallstones are just one of them. Now, uh, even hormone production, estrogens, even pregnant women are more likely to get gallstones because of the hormonal changes, and these do affect the formation of gallstones. Of course, obesity is kind of, I wouldn't say is the true cause, but it's an indicator that a lot of your metabolism is not going right, and it may be the concentration of your biles, uh, the readily available fatty acids in the body are not really there. So, uh, so obesity might be not really a cause, but it's kind of it kind of adds to the problem, uh, because there is a kind of a metabolic inefficiency that's happening. Of course, fasting is something that you should be a little careful about, because when you start to fast, the body does slow down. Okay. And if you continuously do it for long periods of time, the body will start saying, okay, I shouldn't be producing so much of bile, I shouldn't be doing this, and I shouldn't be doing that. So some essential parts of your body actually stop or slow down. And now you know what happens if you do not have enough of the acid, which is the bile in your body. It's not going to be able to break down the stone. And if you keep yourself in that starvation mode for very, very long, there's going to be a buildup. Okay. And I've noticed that people who do not have kind of avoid every kind of fat possible and have a zero fat diet tend to actually get into these kinds of problems. And of course, there is the whole range of fatty acids as we've already talked about earlier. So uh, fasting is not really a good thing. Okay, it's always good. You want to eat less. That's fine. You know, but an absolute starvation mode is something that uh, it puts the body in a different state of you know state of operation, so to say. Even bad diets, especially if we eat too much of processed food. They call it junk food, but I'd like to be more specific and say processed food. Right now, if you haven't heard my earlier topic on processed foods and the dangers of processed foods, you can always go back to my YouTube channel and you'll find quite a bit of it there. Uh, so the processed food, like I said, processed food is not food; it's a substance, and these substances are devoid. They've been removed of things that can go bad. And what are those things that can go bad? Those are the nutrients. Okay, nutrients have a shelf life. Anything that's fresh will become bad eventually. And so the only way to kind of keep it on a long shelf life is to actually, you know, remove a lot of these good nutrients from the food, kill it down so that nothing wants to eat it. No bacteria, no virus, nobody wants to go and touch it. And that what I'd say constitutes a bad diet. So if you're living off these instant foods, open a pack of noodles, throw in some water, wait for 10 minutes and and gobble it down, not an ideal food to have. Well, nothing wrong if you have it once in a while, which means really once in a while. A lot of foods are processed, and while we think oh, sausages and this and that, a lot of things are out there, but they put a lot of stuff into it. Sugars, nitrates, kind of try to make it tasty with the various salts and sugars, but it's actually not really. That's just the taste. But the actual nutrient profile might be filled with cornstarch or industrial seed oil, uh, which is really really harmful. So these are some of the top causes. But are there any potential cures for this? Now, there are things which is called a liver cleanse, and it's kind of something that you can actually do at home. It's not entirely complicated. Now, I won't recommend this because, um, you know, I really wouldn't vouch for what the body has to go through during a liver cleanse. But you can go and check them out on YouTube. There are several doctors who prescribe an entire liver cleanse, and some do use chemicals and some use all natural. And I would definitely lean towards the all natural, where you have a mix of olive oil, castor oil, apple cider vinegar. Um, the other alternates that people use Epsom salt, but Epsom salt is a chemical, and because of there are the concentrations of magnesium, if I'm correct, um, that can a large amount of that can actually affect you. And if you are an overdose of Epsom salt, it can be a little risky. So there are more natural. I mean, you can use more natural things uh, to do a liver cleanse. So you can go and check it out. I really won't be providing any links here. You can just go and have a look at it. It's a bit scary to do because once you go through liver cleanse, actually what happens is you're going to really pass loose motions, and in those motions you're going to get uh, these gallstones are going to break up and they're going to actually come out in your stools. In fact, you won't have a stool, you just have stones coming out. And it can be quite shocking when you look at it. I definitely agree. Uh, but if you don't want to do, and I think maybe you may not want to do a liver cleanse, or you may want to do a liver cleanse in a monitored hospital environment, that's fantastic. So that's something, at least somebody's there to kind of do it for you. But a lot of people say it's not really as dangerous as it sounds, but it can be quite an exhausting situation because you lose a lot of fluids. You will be a bit dehydrated and things like that. So the better thing to do is to have a much better diet. And the better diet means you've got to get a lot of these fatty acids into your body, and you've got to create a scenario where your body is producing enough bile, okay, enough of the stomach acid. And that's a whole way to do that. I mean, it's a whole topic about how you get more effective bile, but you can actually get supplements that will help you produce a more stronger, stomach acid than already is. Uh, so it's essential to have the right amount of stomach acid and the right amount of fatty acids to tongue twister there, ain't it? The right amount of fatty acids to form the substrate to actually break down the stone. So comes to mind is, like I said, extra virgin only. I mean, extra virgin olive oil. Castor oil is something that you use for purging. Okay, and I think everyone knows about it. That 1 teaspoon of castor oil can really kind of bleed out your entire intestinal tract. Apple cider vinegar is used so that you can natural. I'm saying, okay, don't get the processed one. Get something that's brewed natural. It's a natural brewed apple cider vinegar, which will help boost your acidic profile. Okay, so like I said again, everything like comes back to good food, and the good food is something that we always need to have in our in our diets and things like that.